You asked, as an Asian male, am I at a disadvantage in terms of breaking into the industry? So that's an interesting question. I appreciate you being bold and direct with that question. What I would first say is I can tell you about my experience, not only going through the recruiting process with a very diverse group of people at Northwestern. I did have the on-campus kind of home court advantage, but I can also talk about in terms of working on the job and then from a recruiting perspective. But there is going to be, I guess, but I would say the most important way or the most powerful, reliable way to learn the answer to that question is talk to people who fit that mold, whatever it is. If you want to know what's it like to work in private wealth management in Milwaukee, well, then talk to as many people in private wealth management in Milwaukee as possible. If you want to know what it's like for an Asian male to work at Goldman Sachs, then talk to as many Asian males as you can who work at Goldman Sachs. Like that's just right. So we're going to use common sense to do research. And if you talk to 10 people who fit that description, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to learn a lot. And you don't even have to ask about their perspective as, that particular group, but just ask them, what did you love about the job? What did you hate about the job? And you're going to learn a lot from that process. So that's the first thing I would say. So from my perspective, I mean, what I saw if you put the work in and you could speak the language. And I mean speak the language, I don't mean speak English. I mean speak the lexicon of investment bankers. Speak in a way that, it doesn't mean speak in a way that it exudes, a command of finance, financial terms, concepts, not just in an academic way, but in a practical way. Like that's what they're all looking for. If you can do that, that is going to carry a lot of weight. And then when you get an opportunity to get on the job, you got to roll up your sleeves and work really freaking hard and distinguish yourself because of how hard you're working and how accurate and effective your work is. That is going to go really far. This is not like, now if you were applying to maybe a mom and pop small business, very small, tight knit culture, you can see some of these things start to change, but that's not the situation we're talking about. We're talking about very large Fortune 500, multi-billion-dollar companies. There's a shit ton of work to do, like an absolute metric shit ton of work to do. So if you're going to get in there and carve through that work and make your boss's life easier, that's what's going to distinguish you and move you forward, period.